Hi guys, hello and welcome to my channel. It's been a while, but I'm back for a new story, and this time this story it's about developing film with coffee. Okay, I know that it's not done an actual or news nowadays because it has been done to use coffee to develop film. But I feel that on YouTube there is no actual video that I enjoyed watching, that was helpful for me in order to put me on the right track to develop film with coffee. So you probably heard a concept, it's called caffenol. It's basically a type of recipe, so to speak, that allows us to develop film with coffee as the base ingredient. Okay, so I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible. My videos tend to be a little bit longer than I don't know that needed. Maybe I tend to ramble a little bit, but this time I try to make it short. So, how to develop film with coffee? Well, first advice I give you before I tell anything else is that you should first try to develop film using the regular process. By regular process, I mean to buy a developer and to develop your black and white film. And this process is dedicated to black and white, but I'll talk about it a little bit later. So I would advise you to develop film using the regular process, using the regular standard normal developer. Okay, because then you train yourself and you feel comfortable with the process. And when you're introducing a concept, you know what to expect, how to react, and your mind is trained to develop black and white film. So I would advise you guys, if you are not experienced in developing black and white film using a regular store-bought developer, I would advise you guys to do so. So go out, buy a developer, develop a few rolls, feel comfortable with the process, with temperatures, with the timings and all of that, and then you can back here and learn how to use coffee. So why to use this process caffenol to develop black and white film? Because it's lots of fun, it's different, and it's basically that, and the results obviously. So the highlights, I like how the highlights look, I like how the shadows look, but once again, you can only have that baseline if you develop film using the regular process to start with. Okay, so develop your film at home with the regular process, feel comfortable, see the results, experiment with different timings and all that good stuff, and then you say, okay, I'm comfortable with it, I actually enjoy developing film, these are the results I'm getting. So when you develop with caffenol, you'll have something to hang on to and to see the difference, right? So is it cheaper than regular developer? I would say probably not, because you can buy half a liter of original by cheap, by 12 euros or something like that. You can develop a bunch of film, lots of film. I'll develop a few rolls this year, and I still have lots of my fresh open bottles. So it's not a matter, in my opinion. Obviously, if you look at the YouTube videos, you probably see some different opinions. But in my opinion, here is that it's not a matter of price. It's a matter of the process itself. It's a matter of having fun and experimenting and seeing different results with the stuff you find almost at home, most of it. And that's the next part. I will walk you through what are the components you need to use caffenol. And caffenol has several variants. I believe this is caffenol C, because we use vitamin C to develop the film. So the next part, I will walk you through the components that you need, then I'll show you a recipe of mine, then I'll walk you through the mixing process, and I wrap up. This is going to be simple, to the point, and very concrete. So the components, with no specific order. Well, I'll just go to the first one I pick. So I have here, I cannot show you this part because I'm recycling some boxes from other stuff, but we have coffee. Okay, so regular coffee that are ready to use coffee. Don't use decaf, normal coffee, as strong as possible, the cheapest one you can get. Okay, so you go through the shelves. Okay, this is the cheapest one, get it. Just try to get the fine grain one. because it's easier to work with. Other than that, just, dude, cheap, as strong as possible, buy it, okay? Because of all the components, it's the one you're going to use the most, okay? It's the one that's going to last less. So buy the most as you can, as cheap as you can, as strong as you can. You're not going to drink it. You can, but the cheapest one in the bigger quantities you can find, and you're good to go. You're fine. You're done. Whatever, doesn't really matter. Strong, coffee, and cheap, fine grain, done. Okay. So the next one you need, it's what is called in English, it's sodium carbonate. So sodium carbonate. So I thought this one was the hardest one to get, which was not, apparently. So if you live in Portugal, it's called potassa. So I just went to the grocery store, the ones that are in the streets, and I asked for, I'm sorry, I'm looking for sodium carbonate, in Portuguese carbonato de sódio, not in Portuguese, not bicarbonato, it's carbonato de sodium carbonate, and the guy said, oh yeah, potassa, and what, is it common? Yeah, it's very common for this and that and that, and so it's called potassa. You can find in any grocery store, any store that sells nails, it will sell potassa for you guys. So it was really cheap. So it was 1 kilogram. It cost me not almost not €1.80 or something like that. It's 1 kilo. It's going to last you for a long time. Caffenol. So the thing you're going to use the most is coffee. So sodium carbonate or potassa if you are in Portugal, and you're good to go. It was really easy to find. I was kind of surprised because here in Portugal called potasse, and it's a very common ingredient for the kitchen and other stuff. Okay, so coffee and potassa here in Portugal, at least, you can find it fairly easy. And the component I thought was going to be easier to find, it was kind of the hardest one, which is vitamin C. So you need vitamin C. So I have here, I can show these guys, it's a generic one. So vitamin C here, I have here around 1 kilo. But I found it hard to find, not hard to find itself, but hard to find it in the correct price. So it's kind of, you can find it in small quantities and kind of overpriced, which is weird. I don't know. I was surprised. I thought I could find it anywhere, but not really. So I ended up finding it in the online store where I buy my protein shakes and my protein bars. So it's kind of a healthier, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really matter. And I got it on Black Friday, and it cost me 1 kilogram. It cost me €10. It was really cheap because of Black Friday, but they tend to make constant promotions, and I can find it in not as cheap as I wanted, but acceptably cheap. So I did bought it in 1 kilogram, and afterwards it was a new promotion. I bought half a kilogram. So I am set. So I have developed quite a few rolls, and I still have lots of vitamin C, and I have lots of sodium carbonate, but the coffee goes in a very fast fashion, because on the recipe, and I'm going to post you guys a recipe for 1 liter. So the recipe I use is for 1 liter, I'm going to use 12 tablespoons of soda, 12. I will post this in the screen and you can pause to check. 3 tablespoons of vitamin C and 18 tablespoons of coffee for 1 liter. So if you need to do more, if you want to do less, you just adjust the recipe for more or less. So it depends on the developing tech and all of that good stuff. So this is my baseline. If I would make 1 liter, this is my recipe. If I need more, I just add more. If I want less, I just remove a little bit. I'm not very precise on my measurements. I use tablespoons as a measurement, not weight, because it's kind of, I have a tablespoon on my kitchen to bake cakes, so it's easy to use. So I'm not very precise on my measurements. Sorry for that, but it works. Okay, so once again, this is it is for my enjoyment, for having fun, and I love the results too. So I have developed black and white 100 speed, 400 speed, and I have developed color film 100 speed, 400 speed with caffenol. I love the results on color and on black and white. I like a little bit more on black and white because obviously you get better results because it's black and white. But on color, you also get some interesting shadows, some interesting highlights. But I will advise you guys to test it by yourself. And I'm going to post now a color example and now a black and white example. Okay, so maybe in YouTube it's not easy to see, but it works. And sometimes it's cheaper, at least for me, to buy color film. And I do develop color film with color chemicals, but color chemicals tend to be a little bit expensive. So this is my way to develop color film. It's on black and white. I do prefer black and white anyways. Once again, this is just my opinion. Your mileage may vary, your opinions may vary. Don't worry too much about it. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if this section will go in the end or in the middle of my video. I'm still going to decide on the editing process. But I'm going to show you also, maybe right now, a screen capture of me watching a video of myself mixing the chemicals and doing a commentary. So this is me. I'm on a corner here. Hey, so here I'm trying to make some commentary to the video I just recorded on my previous development session. So I developed a few stuff, a few roles, and in this case I developed, I think, 4 35mm and 1 medium format. So I have used in this session here my biggest tank. It's a I cannot say the brand. It's a Peterson tank. It's the biggest one. It can develop 8 35mm rolls at a time. So you're going to be seeing me here mix a little bit more a bigger amount of developer as usual. But yeah, let me just walk you through this as fast as I can. So let's press play. So this is me. So this here at the left, it's my container. And on the right, it's we're going to mix stuff, and on the right, the actual coffee, potassium or sodium carbonate, and the coffee. So this is me just adding the correct amount of water. So it depends on the amount of rolls you're going to develop. So here it was quite a big amount. So one thing to notice is that be careful, because this is going to smell not that good in the end, because when you mix the coffee and the potassium, it smells bad, but when you add the vitamin C, it's going to smell a little bit like rotten fish. Okay, so be careful with that. It doesn't affect me that much, but sometimes some people don't enjoy that. So, and also when you add the vitamin C, be careful, because the vitamin C, it tends to foam up, to make a big amount of foam. You see that, and things seem to go overboard. So just be careful with that. That's why I'm using a container. This container, it was too cheap, so it's going to let the liquid out a little bit, but that's fine. So just mix stuff on your counter the best way that you can. So this is me rounding the 1 liter recipe to 1.6 liters. I think it was there. So just add your stuff. I'm using tablespoons. So blah blah blah. Adds the coffee. Now I'm heating the camera. Well, what are you gonna do? So here I'm adding the coffee. As you can see, the recipient, it's getting filled. So now I'm going to change sceneries, because I know that things are going to get crazy. So I'm swapping to my bidet. So hope my wife does not see the mess I do, because I tend to clean up really nice afterwards. But this is me adding the vitamin C, and you'll see that things are going to get crazy. See, let it mix. Now I try to mix it as best as I can, and as when you probably see things going overboard. So if you're doing this using a shallow recipient with a spoon, be careful, because things are going to foam up and go overboard. See, it kind of creates a gassy effect. I thought that the vitamin C was effervescent, but it's not. So it happens. Now things start to smell really nasty. This looks not as good as usual, but then I can clean up and I'm good to go. So now I have my, what do you call it, developer ready, and that's pretty much it. There it is. So I have my developer ready, and just let it sit for 5 minutes. So usually I prepare this, go out, go back and put the film on the tank, on the development tank, and while I do so, this will settle and calm down. Then you just develop everything as usual. Okay, just pour the developer in. Usually my timings are 100 speed, 8 minutes, 400 speed, 9.5 minutes, something like that. It will depend if I'm pushing the film or not, but 108 8 minutes, 400 or more, 9-10 minutes, it depends. If I push my film, if I know that I pushed my film, I tend to go near the 10 minutes at times, so you should be okay. So once again, you need to experiment and try it yourself. So I'm going, the recipe popped up here somewhere in a video, I don't know when, and for 1 liter, adjust the temperature of the water. It should be like a regular developer, 20 degrees should be fine. I tend to be not too careful with that, but that's me. So 8 minutes for 100 speed film, 9 minutes for 400 speed film. Once again, adjust accordingly. After mixing and putting the films on the tank, develop as usual. My stop bath, it's water. I don't use stop chemicals, it's water, standard water, it's my stop bath. And then you fix it like with a regular fixer, wash it, put it to dry, scan it, and it's fine. And check the results. It's just fun, and I enjoy the process and also enjoy the results. So I hope you enjoyed this video too. Ask any questions you have down below, and see you next. Somewhere in this video is going to show also the recipe for you guys to try out. If you have any questions, please drop in below and I'm happy to answer them. So see you next time.